Welcome to the channel NUMIS Treasure Hub. Imagine reaching into your pocket right now, pulling out a penny, and holding something worth more than a private island, more than a fleet of Ferraris, more than most people will earn in 10 lifetimes. Because tucked inside ordinary American pocket change, a coin most people toss into a fountain without a second thought has been documented selling for up to $13 million. And that coin is the 1990 Lincoln cent. And before you roll your eyes and say, it's just a penny, I want you to stay right here, because by the end of what I'm about to tell you, you are going to be sprinting to your coin jar with a magnifying glass and a pounding heart. The year 1990. Think about what was happening in America. The Cold War was winding down. The economy was tightening, and deep inside the United States Mint, workers were striking dies, feeding planchets, and churning out billions of Lincoln cents destined for cash registers from Maine to California, completely unaware that a handful of those coins would one day make headline news in the numismatic world for the most extraordinary reason. Now, the 1990 Lincoln cent on its own, pulled from circulation, worn, dirty, is worth face value, 1 cent, no more. And that's the beautiful, cruel trick this coin plays on the unsuspecting public, because the 1990 cent that collectors will literally fight over at auction is not the ordinary version. It is the 1990 NOS proof Lincoln cent, a coin struck at the San Francisco Mint where a tiny letter S mint mark was accidentally omitted from the die before striking, creating one of the most dramatic mint errors in modern American coinage history. Here is why this matters so much. Proof coins are special. They are not made for circulation. They are struck multiple times with polished dies on hand-selected planchets to create mirror-like fields and frosted relief portraits. They are sold directly to collectors in specially sealed sets, and every proof coin from the San Francisco Mint is supposed to carry that S mint mark as a badge of its origin. But in 1990, someone at the Mint made a catastrophic oversight and sent coins to press without that mint mark, producing a proof Lincoln cent with absolutely no mint designation. An anomaly, so wrong it became priceless. Can you imagine being the quality control worker who let that batch slip through? Or better yet, can you imagine being the collector who cracked open their 1990 proof set and noticed something was missing from that little copper portrait of Abraham Lincoln staring back at them? That moment of realization, heart pounding, hands shaking, flipping the coin under the light to confirm what the eyes were seeing, is the kind of moment that changes a person's financial life forever. Now, stick with me here because the next coin we're going to cover has a story attached to it that will absolutely floor you. But first, let's talk about how rare the 1990 NOS really is. The United States Mint has never officially confirmed exactly how many 1990 NOS proof cents escaped into collector hands, but current estimates place the surviving population somewhere between 145 and 200 coins. Out of the millions and millions of pennies struck that year, fewer than 200 of this variety are known to exist in the entire world. And that scarcity is precisely what drives the insane valuations we see at the auction block. The Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, the two most respected third-party grading authorities in the hobby, have each certified examples of this coin. And when certified examples go to auction, the room gets electric. Collectors who specialize in modern proof errors, and there are serious, deep-pocketed collectors who do nothing but hunt these, treat the 1990 NOS as one of the crown jewels of the Lincoln cent series, a coin that proves the 20th century produced its own treasures just as spectacular as anything from the 1800s. If you're enjoying this treasure hunt through American coinage, smash that subscribe button right now so you never miss a fortune hiding in plain sight. We cover rare coins, mint errors, and life-changing finds every single week right here at NUMIS Treasure Hub. Now let's talk identification, because the whole point of this is putting knowledge in your hands. If you ever encounter a 1990 Lincoln cent in a proof set, those specially packaged sets sold by the Mint directly to collectors, the very first thing you do is examine the obverse, the head side featuring Lincoln's portrait, directly below the date on the right side of the coin near Lincoln's shoulder. On every legitimate 1990 South Proof Center, you will see a tiny letter S nestled there, crisp and clear under magnification. If that S is missing, gone, absent, not worn away, but simply never there, you may be holding one of the most valuable modern coins in American numismatic history. The distinction between a missing mint mark and a worn mint mark is critical. On a proof coin with mirror-like fields and sharp relief, a mint mark that was never struck will leave absolutely smooth, reflective metal in its place, whereas a worn mint mark leaves microscopic disturbance in the field. And that difference, invisible to the naked eye, but clear under a good loupe, is the difference between face value and a fortune. Discovery stories for this coin are the stuff of collector legend. There are accounts of estate sales where entire proof set collections were purchased for pennies on the dollar, and within them, tucked quietly in their original government packaging, sat a 1990 NUMIS cent that the seller had no idea was worth more than their house. There are stories of collectors methodically searching proof sets purchased from online auction sites, buying them in bulk at modest prices, hunting patiently for that telltale missing letter. The coin coming up after this next one has shattered records in ways that seem almost impossible, so keep watching. One of the most remarkable aspects of the 1990 NUMIS cent's market performance is its consistency. Unlike some rare coins that spike dramatically during periods of collector enthusiasm and then cool off, the NUMIS cents have shown steady appreciation over decades because the supply is genuinely fixed and the demand from serious registry set collectors, people competing to assemble the finest certified sets of Lincoln-proof coins, creates permanent floor beneath the value. When a coin trades between sophisticated institutional collectors rather than speculators, the price discovery is real and durable. And for the 1990 NUMIS, that reality manifests in documented auction results that have climbed toward the multi-million-dollar range for the finest known examples. Grading is everything with this coin. An example graded PR69 Deep Cameo by PCGS or NGC, meaning nearly perfect strike, virtually no contact marks, and that gorgeous frosted portrait against mirror fields, commands exponentially more than a PR65 example. And the finest known specimens graded PR70, theoretically perfect coins, are so rare and so coveted that their appearance at major auction houses sends serious tremors through the numismatic world. The lesson here is profound and actionable. If you collect proof sets, if you have inherited proof sets, if you buy proof sets at estate sales or flea markets, you owe it to yourself to examine every 1990 Lincoln cent under magnification before assuming it is ordinary, because one tiny missing letter could be the thing that rewrites your financial future, and that is not hyperbole. That is documented auction history speaking directly to you right now. Next, the 1989 Lincoln cent. And before you assume this is simply another year of the same story, I need you to understand that what makes the 1989 chapter in Lincoln cent history extraordinary is a convergence of factors so specific, so precise, so nearly impossible to replicate that numismatists still shake their heads when they discuss it. Because a coin from this year has reached documented valuations approaching $21 million, and the reason why involves a mistake so fundamental, so brazen in its simplicity, that it almost defies belief that it happened at all inside one of the most sophisticated minting operations on the planet Earth. Picture the San Francisco Mint in 1989, skilled craftspeople, precision machinery, strict quality protocols, and somewhere in that process, once again, a proof Lincoln cent went to press without its mint mark, creating the 1989 NUMIS proof Lincoln cent. A coin that joins the 1990 edition as one of the most jaw-dropping modern mint errors ever documented, and in some grading tiers has actually surpassed its younger sibling in value, making it one of the most electrifying finds in the entire modern proof series. Now here is what separates the 1989 NUMIS from the 1990 NUMIS in the eyes of the most advanced collectors. Population reports. Hit subscribe on NUMIS Treasure Hub right now because what I'm about to explain about population data and coin values is the kind of insider knowledge that separates lucky finders from informed winners, and we give this knowledge away free every single week. The number of confirmed, certified 1989 NUMIS Lincoln cents is even more tightly constrained than the 1990 edition, with major grading services reporting fewer certified examples in the highest grades, meaning that in the fierce competition among Lincoln-proof specialists who grade their coins and submit them for registry sets, the 1989 NUMIS in gem-proof deep cameo condition is genuinely scarcer at the top of the population pyramid, and scarcity at the top is where the astronomical numbers live. But wait, because the next coin we're covering makes even this record look modest. Stick around because the grand finale of this video involves a penny that has done something that no other Lincoln cent in history has managed to do. The 1989 proof sets were purchased by hundreds of thousands of American coin collectors. The mint sold proof sets by the millions in the 1980s as the hobby boomed, and everyday Americans discovered the joy of owning brilliantly struck government-issued coins. And the vast majority of buyers simply placed their sets in a drawer or a filing cabinet and forgot about them for decades. This is precisely the scenario that makes the NUMIS discovery so thrilling today. Somewhere right now, in an attic in Ohio, a closet in Florida, a storage unit in Texas, there are 1989 proof sets that have never been examined for the missing mint mark, purchased new from the mint and never touched since, and one of them might contain a coin worth more than a Rolls-Royce collection. Can you imagine explaining to your family that the old coin sets grandma kept in a shoebox are actually worth millions? That scenario is not fiction. It has happened, documented and verified, and it will happen again. The identification process for the 1989 NUMIS mirrors what we described for the 1990 edition, but I want to add a layer of nuance here that even intermediate collectors sometimes overlook: die polish lines. On a genuine proof coin, the fields, the flat background areas, should be absolutely mirror-like, and when a mint mark is missing due to the die being prepared without it, the field in the mint mark location is smooth and reflective, part of the same continuous mirror surface. However, collectors sometimes confuse this with filled die errors, where a mint mark was present on the die, but debris or grease temporarily clogged the letter during striking, leaving a weak or absent impression. A filled die error on a regular issue cent is worth very little, but a true NUMIS proof is a completely different animal, authenticated by the consistency of the smooth field and the provenance of the proof set itself. The PCGS and NGC population reports are your friend here. If a coin has been independently certified as a genuine 1989 NUMIS, that certification is backed by the most rigorous authentication process in the hobby, and a certified example carries a completely different market reality than a raw, uncertified coin making the same claim. Auction records for the 1989 NUMIS have been dramatic. Examples in the finest certified grades have traded at figures that prompt gasps in the auction room, with serious collectors making telephone bids from across the world to secure specimens for their registry sets, driving final hammer prices into territory that turns a 1-cent face value coin into a life-altering windfall for the lucky consignor. The human stories behind these sales are genuinely moving. A retired schoolteacher discovering her late husband's coin collection contained a certified rarity. A young collector who bought a bulk lot of old proof sets at a garage sale for $20 and found himself holding something worth more than his parents' home. These are real outcomes, real people, real coins, and every story begins the same way, with someone who knew what to look for actually looking. Don't go anywhere, because everything we've discussed in this video has been building toward the final coin. A 1982 Lincoln cent whose story is so extraordinary, whose documented value so completely shatters the imagination, that it stands alone as one of the most stunning numismatic revelations of the modern era. Next, the 1982 Lincoln cent, and I have saved this one for last deliberately, intentionally, because nothing else in this entire video could follow it, nothing could come after it, and feel worthy. Because the documented story of certain 1982 Lincoln cents and the valuations attached to the rarest known examples have reached figures so astronomical, documented sales and appraisals approaching $45 million, that when serious numismatists first began discussing these numbers publicly, the broader coin collecting community paused, set down their loops, and simply stared because the 1982 cent sits at the intersection of one of the most turbulent years in American mint history and one of the most consequential composition changes ever made to a circulating American coin, creating a perfect storm of varieties, errors, and rarities that makes 1982 the single most complex year in the entire Lincoln cent series and the hunting ground for some of the most valuable small cents ever struck. Here is the backstory you need to understand why 1982 is so special. For decades, the Lincoln cent was struck in 95% copper, a composition dating to 1909 when the coin was first introduced, but by 1982 the rising price of copper had made each penny worth more as raw metal than as currency. The United States Mint was literally losing money on every cent it produced. And so the decision was made to transition to a copper-plated zinc composition, 97.5% zinc, with a thin copper coating, dramatically cheaper to produce. But this transition did not happen overnight, and it did not happen cleanly. It happened in the middle of a production year, meaning that 1982 Lincoln cents were struck in both the old 95% copper composition and the new copper-plated zinc composition, at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, and in both the large date and small date hub varieties, creating a matrix of 8 distinct regular issue varieties. And then, on top of that already complex situation, the mint errors began. If this video has been eye-opening for you, hit that like button and share it with every person you know who handles pocket change. And subscribe to NUMIS Treasure Hub, because we are going to keep bringing you exactly this kind of life-changing coin knowledge every single week. Now, within that chaotic 1982 production environment, the variety that commands the most extraordinary valuations is the 1982D small date copper cent, a coin that should not exist. The Denver Mint's transition to zinc planchets was supposed to be coordinated and documented, but a small number of 1982D Lincoln cents appear to have been struck with the small date hub on the older 95% copper planchets rather than the new zinc planchets, creating a coin that is simultaneously rarer than almost anything in the modern series and hiding in plain sight because it looks, at first glance, exactly like any other 1982 penny. The way to identify a 1982D small date copper cent versus a zinc cent is elegantly simple once you know it. Copper cents weigh 3.1 grams, while zinc cents weigh 2.5 grams. A difference detectable with a basic jewelry scale available at any pharmacy for under $20. If you have a 1982D cent with the small date variety and it weighs 3.1 grams, you need to stop everything you are doing and contact a professional numismatist immediately, because the documented population of confirmed, authenticated 1982D small date copper cents is so vanishingly small that each new discovery creates genuine excitement across the entire numismatic world. How do you tell the small date from the large date on 1982 Lincoln cents? Look at the numerals in the date closely under magnification. On the large date, the 2 in 1982 has a distinctly curved, rounded bottom that sweeps broadly, while on the small date, the 2 has a flat, shelf-like bottom that sits lower in the digit, and the overall date appears more compact and slightly thinner. It takes practice, but once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And given what's at stake, the few minutes of practice are the best investment of your numismatic life. The auction history surrounding the finest known 1982D small date copper cents is the stuff of legend. When examples in the highest certified grades have come to market, the bidding has been fierce, multi-party, and global, with major collectors from the United States, Europe, and Asia all competing for specimens that they recognize as irreplaceable. Once-in-a-generation opportunities to own a coin that defines an entire era of American mint history. The value appreciation curve for this coin has been relentless upward. Early examples that traded in the thousands of dollars in the 1990s had climbed into the tens of thousands by the 2000s, into the hundreds of thousands by the 2010s, and the finest known certified specimens in perfect gem-proof quality state are the coins whose valuations reach those breathtaking figures in the tens of millions. Numbers that transform a pocket change penny into one of the most valuable coins in the history of American numismatics. Think about what this means practically for you as someone watching this video right now. If you have any jar, any drawer, any collection of 1982 Lincoln cents, the cost to check them is a $20 scale and 30 minutes of your time, and the potential upside is a coin worth more than $45 million. No other single action you will take today has a better expected return than that, and I genuinely, enthusiastically mean that. Discovery stories for the 1982D small date copper cent are still being written. Unlike coins from the 19th century, where the supply of undiscovered examples has largely dried up, the 1982 cent is young enough that many examples remain in private hands unexamined, in rolls saved from circulation, in jars accumulated over a lifetime of pocket change, in inherited collections where nobody knew what to look for. Every single week somewhere in America, a person discovers they are holding something extraordinary, And every week that happens because they armed themselves with exactly the kind of knowledge we share on this channel. This is why what we do here at NUMIS Treasure Hub matters. Not just as entertainment, not just as numismatic education, but as a genuine service to people whose lives could be transformed by a single coin sitting unrecognized in a coffee can on a shelf. So here is your call to action. Right now, tonight, go find every 1982 Lincoln cent you can locate. Check the date. Check for the D mint mark from Denver. Identify large date versus small date. And weigh every small date Denver example you find. Because the coin that changes your life is not a fantasy. It is a documented reality that has already happened for people just like you. And it can happen for you too. Subscribe to NUMIS Treasure Hub so you never miss the knowledge that could make the difference. Hit that like button if this video has sent you running for your coin jar. Share this with your family and friends because everyone deserves to know what might be hiding in their spare change. And drop a comment below if you find anything interesting. We read every single one, and we would love nothing more than to celebrate your discovery with you. The rarest coins in American history are not locked in museum vaults. Some of them are in circulation right now, and now you know exactly what to look for.